You just have to make sure that you do things right and that you really have a reason to strip search somebody and not just do it just because of whatever.
But you guys would arrest somebody before you had to strip search them, and then there's special procedures. I mean, they just take old people and stuff. I mean, people could have a bomb up their rear end. Are we going to have proctology exams?
Yeah, no, I don't know. The bottom line is...
I mean, is that land of the free, home of the brave? Should the American symbol be a rubber glove?
No, I would hope not. I hope that never becomes the case. The bottom line is they've got a job to do. Most of those people actually do a decent job. Every once in a while, you've got people that are overzealous, just like you have in any profession. But there is a need to ensure the safety of airline travelers, but we have to make sure that we do it right.
But it sets the precedent that the government has to keep you safe when the government can't keep you safe. I mean, now the TSA is running checkpoints on highways.
I haven't heard that other than at the airport itself. So
no, they've expanded it.
See, I haven't seen that, but we know that some of the transportation infrastructure is probably susceptible to issues in terms of homeland security issues. So, but I think that we've got sufficient resources out there where I'm not sure there's a great need, but I'd have to get more information on it.
Well, I mean, my concern is more and more the feds come in with these mandates, because I saw all over the country federal grants for the blood-taking checkpoints. And tell me about your blood-sucking program. I mean, you pioneered that, didn't you?
No, I didn't pioneer. Well, here I did in Austin.
Art, Count Dracula, Ace of Ada?
Look, a lot of people get killed by drunk drivers, and we're not going to be able to save everybody. But if I can turn a life around or save a life by creating an atmosphere for drunk drivers where they know that we are going to use every lawful means to gather evidence to hold people accountable for a choice, because drunk driving is a choice. I mean, after a couple of drinks, and you choose to drive after a couple of drinks, you're really putting yourself and others at risk. I don't think it's a bad thing for the people of the city of Austin, for the police department to have a reputation of being very aggressive against drunk drivers. Hopefully that encourages people not to drink and drive, and at the end of the day, I hope it saves lives. But
there's moves to have breathalyzers in all new cars. Half the Austin squad cars couldn't even turn on if that happened.
Yeah. No, I can guarantee you that 99.9% of the squad cars would turn on if that happened.
I'm just joking. But cops are famous drinkers.
But you'll notice I didn't say 100%.
Is that a stereotype?
That's a stereotype. I think that culturally, there's been a lot of officers that the alcohol has been a big part of policing, just like any other macho type thing. But I think that today's officers, higher educated, than they were 30 years ago. A lot of them have outside interests. A lot of them pursue graduate degrees, and so you don't see the culture of cops going out and partying like you might have seen 25, 30 years ago. With Joseph Wambaugh wrote about the Shortstop. There's a place that I've actually been to on Sunset Boulevard that was a big cop hangout. I think the culture is changing.
What about texting, though? I've seen statistics where it's like 4 times more dangerous than drinking and driving.
Texting and driving is very dangerous. That's why you can't text and drive in the city of Austin. Mike Martinez was the mayor pro tem, he's now a council member, was a big proponent of that, brought it forward. We passed it. We've actually written tickets for it.
But I do see people swerving everywhere while they're texting.
Well, what it is that when you see people swerving, then you go to pass them, you look over it, and you see what they're doing.
No, I see it. Driving. I saw a giant 18-wheeler driver down in Corpus Christi hauling natural gas, literally texting while he was driving.
That's scary. That's why they need to use some of these new applications like the iPhone has, a new iPhone where you can actually have your little earpiece in with
talk,
and it actually reads it back to you. I actually bought that because I'm always working.
No, that is useful. But I mean, you've got to go here in about 5 minutes. But I want you to be able to make some points that you've got and ask you, why are you here? I mean, why are you interfacing with the community and that change in policing? But getting back to the no refusal, I know people who aren't even drinking and they've been pulled over here in other cities and they say, we're going to breathalyzer, and you say no, so they take you to jail. The legislature tries to take your license. What about the Fifth Amendment? What about people's rights to say no, and then you guys respond, fine, we'll just take your blood?
The Fifth Amendment speaks to interrogation, to speech. It doesn't really speak to the blood. The Fourth Amendment is probably more of what people would talk
person,
about.
papers, and effects.
Yeah, so here's the deal about that. The Supreme Court many years ago ruled, the United States Supreme Court, that because of the exigency of the circumstances, in other words, if I believe you're under the influence of alcohol, that there is an exigency there to get the evidence, because with every hour, the evidence is dissipating.
Yeah, there's also the public safety emergency, that if you are drunk, it's a clear and present danger.
Well, absolutely. And so the bottom line is that they ruled many years ago that you don't even need a search warrant. That if you have reasonable suspicion, probable cause to believe the person is under the influence, potentially under the influence, that because of the exigency, that as long as state law allows it, which in Texas it does, you can actually do warrantless blood search warrants. And there's actually, throughout the state of Texas, search warrants, there's actually non-consensual blood testing without a search warrant if you have prior arrests and convictions for DWI, if somebody's been injured, somebody's been transported to the hospital.
Sure, that's an emergency. But going back in time, we didn't have all this.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we always get more, and there's always an excuse. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And then earlier on the radio show, I brought up to you Fast and Furious, government caught lying, shipping guns into Mexico. I brought up on the news the troops being ordered to grow the opium. My point is, there's a greater danger in government getting too much power. It will always be abused than all the excuses government has of how this is going to keep people safe. And I'm out there driving all the time. I'm sure there are some drunk drivers. I see it occasionally driving home late at night. They're either driving real slow or they're swerving. But I see more dangerous people on the phone, putting their makeup on and texting. I know it isn't as sexy as stopping the drunk drivers.
But you know what? People putting on makeup, that's an unsafe, to me, the safe speed for that vehicle when you're applying makeup is 0. You shouldn't be driving. So I would be writing somebody a citation for driving at a speed that's unsafe for the conditions. In other words, I've actually investigated as a cop a head-on collision, and this was on back when I was a road patrol officer, where a lady's sitting there doing this, putting on her makeup, crosses the center double yellow lines on a surface street, and crashed head-on, double fatality, because somebody's put on their makeup. So, yeah, you're right that there are laws, but I think that as technology evolves, as the distractions evolve, we have to catch up to it. I mean, it's just not a good idea.
What do you think about police all over the country taking cell phones and downloading their contents at traffic stops?
Oh, you can't do that.
Michigan's been doing it.
Well, I don't know how they get.
What about Louisiana saying, we don't even need probable cause, but we're going to search your car off a hunch?
I believe that if that were the case, that you'd probably get thrown out in court. It would not withstand judicial review. You have to have probable cause, or you have to have consent.
I think the best news of our interview, though, is since you've been police chief here 5 years from Southern California, you are now more pro-Second Amendment and do believe more guns, less crime?
You know, what's interesting is that, I came from that very strict place in California, and when I first got here, I think that guns belong in the hands of law-abiding Americans. I don't think the guys are out selling dope or committing robberies or involved in criminal enterprises, we should allow them to have guns. But absent that, or somebody that's getting ready to go psycho because they've got some serious mental health issues. But absent that, I strongly believe in the Second Amendment. The gun carry law here, I think, is one of the best in the nation. But now the Congress has just passed it where we have to, as Texans, have to take the permit that's issued in another state, and reciprocity is mandatory. Again, I believe in states' rights, and I don't want to have to take and accept a permit from a state where they might decide to give it to somebody who has no business having a gun. Because here in Texas, what I love about Texans is we do it right. People have to qualify at the range. They have to take a gun safety class. And gun ownership is something that's taken very seriously here. And is done right. I think Texas should be the model for the rest of the country.
Well, we can debate that all day, but the statistics are there. Within 3 years of a concealed carry, on average, crime rates go down over 20%.
I think that that there is some
robberies, muggings, things like that.
I think there's some tremendous benefits to it. But see, but in Texas, we force people to show that they're serious gun owners, that they're responsible gun owners. We force them to go to the range to show that they have proficiency, that when they shoot, that there's a chance.
Well, you're talking about concealed carry, but and I do agree. Everybody out buying guns right now, I hope they learn how to use them, because then it's going to be worthless if we don't know how to use it.
Absolutely, and you have to make sure that you have that you have the withdrawal, that if you're going to have it and somebody breaks into your home, that you're going to be willing to use it, because next thing you know, it gets turned on you. So.
How do folks, what website do they visit to learn more about your initiatives here in Austin?
Just they can go to the Austin Police
/Count Dracula. All right. Well, Chief Arte Saveda, thank you for coming in with us today.
It's great to see you.
I appreciate
Merry
it.
Christmas and happy holidays.
In closing, you say your wife gets sick of you listening to the show.
I do listen to the show, and she says it's depressing. She doesn't like me listening to it.
I think deep down, like Darth Vader, you're a good guy, and I think that's why you're listening.
Hey, you know what? Darth Vader is my #1 character. I love Darth Vader, and the reason I do is because I always knew that there was good in him, and that sooner or later that good would overtake the bad, and that's why I love Darth Vader.
Wait, I think I heard you on Jeff Ward say that. That's why I brought up Darth Vader.
My favorite. I love Darth Vader. Absolutely. I think that character shows that is what I like to think about people. There's good, inherent good in everyone, and it's just a matter of finding it.
All right, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, thank you. All right, folks, that's it for this edition of Infowars Nightly News, a split show, half with Aaron Dykes and half with Alex Jones. I'll be back for the full transmission, Lord willing, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central. Don't forget, until Christmas, we're offering that yearly special, 44% off a yearly membership at prisonplanet.tv, and it is your support that helps us get the word out and also helps us write reports and things like the one that you have seen us put out on the FEMA camps being activated. Great job to the crew. I'll see you back tomorrow.